Hello, everyone. Today's writing class, we are going to discuss a mirror by any other name, written by Santa Romero. So what is a mirror? So a mirror is a true story told as a memory, usually in the past tense, where it's the author's narrates who uses a first-person point of view. And it does not retell the author's entire life. It's a selected memory or memories reflect a message or lesson. So how about this story by any other name? The background information of it is, back at the time this account is around 1928. India was a colony of Great Britain, and educated Indians were expected to learn English in addition to their native languages. Okay, there are many languages are spoken in India back then. So the headmistresses or the principal of Santa Romero School was British, as were most of the students, who were the children of British civil servants sent to India as colonial rulers. And Great Britain ruled the Indians subcontinent from 1958 to 1947. So before we go into the reading, here are a couple things I want you to keep in mind that we will do while we read the content. So the first is analyze historical content. So in the reading, you will find to understand the point of view from Romero's brings to her experience at school, identifies details of history and culture that help to define India in the 1920s. Then make an inference about Romero's perspective on these details. Okay, so the example here, from the reading we see, up to then, my mother had refused to send Pramila to school in a British-run establishment of the time. So here, the author noticed her parents have mixed feelings about the British. And the next, I had never really grasped the system of competitive games. It was not for years that I really learned the spirit of that thing. So Romero finds the competitive atmosphere of the British school different from the caring atmosphere at home. So here are some ideas I want you to keep in mind while later on when we read the reading. Another thing is analyze author's purpose. So an author's purpose is a reason the author writes a particular piece, whether to inform, persuade, or entertain on the audience. As you read this essay about a key event in the author's coming of age, analyze Romero's authorial choices. So what historical and cultural details does she share with the readers? Based on her choices, what can you infer about her purpose for writing? So as you read, make more details about the history and the culture, and also the details about the people, and that make into the author's purpose. Okay, one more thing, annotation. So as we read, note passages that interest you or any observations, questions you have. And in the example here, you can see readers' note about the opening of the by any other name. So here, there's underline, she was 8 and I was 5.5 and they changed our names. Okay, and there's another one is headmistress study. So also and her sister were very young and the name got changed. And changing names in the dramatic details. And the headmistress shows that the school was run on a British model. Okay, so now let's get on to our reading here. Okay, a couple things I want you to zoom in a bit. So it's set in India, but with the old British customs. And also about they change our names. Okay. Then on the first day, which my sister and I were sent when she was 8 and I was 5.5. They changed our names. On the first day of school, a hot windless morning of a North India September, we stood in the headmistress' study and she said, "Now you are the new girls. What are your names?" Okay. So then here is also show the example of the cultural opposition. Okay, so you will find cultural aspects we discussed several times. She has been in India, I suppose, 15 years or so, but she still smiled her helpless inability to cope with Indian needs. Her ribbon-lace half glasses glued and precarious bun on the top of her head trembled as she shook her head. Oh my dears, those are much too hard for me. So suppose we give you pretty English name. Okay, so here they try to change their identity in the two girls. So that's another, like we said, the cultural aspect. Okay, let's move down to the number 6. Up to then, my mother had refused to send Camilla to school in a British strong establishment of that time. So we talked about it earlier. Like we also noticed the parents have mixed feeling about the British at the time back to learn. COVID, it's a remarkable one. At that age, if one's name exchange, one developed a curious form of the dual personality. Okay, again, that's the same thing happened previously about the name change in this British school. Let's check a couple more. So here, also its purpose, from line 10 to 14. I can't remember too much about the proceeding in class that day, except for the beginning. The teacher pointed to me and asked me to stand up. Now, dear, tell the class your name. I say nothing. So the author refused to say the names that's been given to her. Okay, come along, she said. Frowning slightly, what's your name, dear? I don't know, I say finally. So that proof again, the author refused. Okay. In non-cultural opposition, here, line 18, I was very sleepy after lunch because at home we always took the siesta. Okay, so in fact, remember the author actually had homeschooling by her mom. Okay, and that's a time that she gets to do the things more in a casual way, so it will be a more pleasant time for her. But once she get into a British school system, now she has certain rules she has followed, and there is no siesta for her. So a couple more examples talk about the cultural, about the racial, and here is one more. She said it was because Indian cheats, so that's when Pramila went home and told her mom that she will not go into the school anymore. Okay, so I don't think we should go back to that school. So there is a racism happened towards these Indian students. Okay, so that's our reading here. Now let's look up some writing practice. Okay, so when we practice writing, there's a couple steps we want to go through. First of all is the clustering, and also you can use mind map, okay, to put your ideas together and get the central details and evidence that to support your arguments. So here we are going to analyze by any other name. So here, just we read the article, we notice that two of important messages that author trying to tell us. One is a cultural appreciation, the other is racism. And then through the reading, we also try to find a couple of evidence. So the evidence one. So one of the evidence we can say about like change names. And then the siesta, so no siesta. The racism is they call Indians cheat. Indians cheat. So you can try to find more evidence and details from the reading list to support your concept. Okay, so next one we will do is the outline. So in the outline, we will start with the introduction. Okay, so there's a quote, there's a background information, there is a 6 statements. And the 6 statements is the outline topic and the key points that we are going to talk about in our paper. And then comes to the body paragraph. So we will have 2 subtopics here. Let's actually pick the cultural operation, obsessions, and the racism. Okay, so the first one will be subtopic 1 that include the top sentence. So what are you going to talk about? Okay. And then you're giving the supporting idea. So reasons, details, facts, or evidence. Okay, so that's evidence we are going to give. And then we will have the conclusion. So the conclusion will go back to first, and then we'll go back to our read thesis. Okay, review the key points you mentioned in the your body paragraphs. Okay, and then give some concluding thought, reflection, or suggestion. So here is an example of the introduction. The hook, you can start a hook with question, with a quote, with a broader concept to grab people's attention that give them the interest that they will continue to read your paper. So the hook here always started with a quote from Kobe Annan once said, "We may have different religions, different languages, different color schemes, but we all belong to one human race." So obviously we can tell this from the quote we are going to talk about the different cultures, okay, even different races, that we all belong to this one human race. So the background information, we are going to tell about what Santa Romas wrote, the author of By Any Other Name, written narrates the story of the two young sisters, Sansa 5.5 and Camilla 8, who are forced into attending an Anglo-Indian school where runs a British model after having been taught by their mother for the majority of their lives. So here we are giving the background information of the concept we are going to discuss, we are going to analyze. Okay, here comes our most important part of the introduction and also for your paper. It's the thesis statement. So I want to outline the topic and the key points. So the two key points we are going to talk about. So first, through Roma Rawls' personal struggle regarding her identity when attending the Anglo-Indian school, two significant conflicts. So the two main things happen to the author is cultural opposition and the racism are expressed in her memoir. So here comes our introduction, and then we will continue with our body paragraphs.